There's a specific kind of frustration that only happens in a workshop late in the evening. You've done everything right. The bench setup was clean. The power supply was stable. The tool connected perfectly. The read was successful. The write completed without errors. Checksums corrected automatically. No warnings, no red flags. You bolt the ECU back into the car, reconnect everything, turn the key, and the engine just cranks. No start, no life, just silence. If you've ever cloned a Volkswagen Golf 6th generation ECU and run into this exact situation, you already know how confusing it can feel. Today we're talking about a very specific case. Cloning a Bosch EDC17CP14 from a Volkswagen Golf using the Magic Motorsport Flex programmer. Everything appears successful on the bench, but the car refuses to start afterward. Welcome back to Baabji Motors. I'm Hussein, and this channel is all about real-world diagnostics, programming tools, and practical workshop solutions. As always, this video is purely for educational and informational purposes. We're discussing system behavior and technical processes so technicians and enthusiasts can better understand how these ECUs work. Always follow manufacturer guidelines and local regulations when working on vehicles, and respect all intellectual property and trademarks. Now here's the big question. If the read and write completed successfully with Flex, why does the car still not start? To understand this, we need to slow down and look at what's actually happening inside the Bosch EDC17CP14. This ECU is part of the MEDC17 family, used widely across VAG vehicles. It's a tri-core-based ECU, which means it has internal flash, external flash in some configurations, EEPROM data, and most importantly, a protected area known as OTP, one-time programmable memory. When many technicians think about cloning, they think in simple terms. Read flash, read EEPROM, write both into the donor ECU and the job is done. That works perfectly on older ECUs without complex Immobilizer encryption. But on EDC17CP14, things are different. You cannot perform a true one-to-one clone on this unit because of the OTP area. The Immobilizer system in this ECU does not rely only on EEPROM data. The crypto key that secures the Immobilizer information is linked to data stored inside the OTP section. That OTP area cannot be rewritten. It is permanently programmed at the factory. So even if you copy the full flash and EEPROM from the original ECU and write them into the donor ECU, the internal OTP crypto key of the donor unit does not match the Immobilizer data you just wrote. From the outside, everything looks correct. The injector codes may appear correct. VIN may match. Software version may match. But internally, the Immobilizer authentication fails because the cryptographic handshake between OTP and EEPROM does not align. The result? Crank but no start. This is why simply writing the original dump into the donor ECU does not produce a working clone. So what actually needs to happen? The EEPROM must be adapted to the donor ECU's OTP crypto key, or the crypto structure must be modified to align with usable key. There are generally three technical approaches in this situation. The first option is a proper Immobilizer data transfer. This means recalculating and transferring the IMMO data so that it works with the donor ECU's OTP crypto key. This is not just a copy-paste operation. It involves modifying specific structures in the EEPROM and sometimes in a flash so that the Immobilizer handshake succeeds. The second option is Immobilizer off. Technically, this disables the Immobilizer function in the ECU. However, depending on local regulations and vehicle configuration, this may not always be appropriate or legal for road use. It also removes an important anti-theft function. In professional workshop environments, this is typically not the preferred permanent solution. The third and most professional method, especially for workshops that want factory-level reliability, is to use a specialized cloning service. Magic Motorsport provides a service specifically for this scenario. Through their VAG Mk6 clone service, you upload the original flash and EEPROM from the original ECU and the donor flash and EEPROM from the replacement ECU. Their system processes the files and modifies the necessary areas so the Immobilizer data aligns correctly with the donor unit's OTP configuration. What they actually do at a technical level is quite interesting. Instead of attempting to rewrite the OTP, which is impossible, they modify the code area in flash to utilize a crypto key placed in an unused region of memory. This allows the Immobilizer system to authenticate correctly using adjusted logic. The result is a fully working clone, including injector codes and all necessary operational data. However, there is an important trade-off that many technicians overlook. After this type of advanced cloning modification, future ECU software updates to official dealer tools may not be possible. Because the code structure has been altered to accommodate the relocated crypto handling. Standard update routines can fail. That's something you need to explain clearly to your customer before proceeding. In practical workshop terms, here's what you should do if you're stuck with non-start after cloning a VW Golf 6th generation EDC17CP14 with Flex. First, confirm your bench read was complete and correct for both flash and EEPROM on both ECUs. Second, do not repeatedly rewrite random combinations hoping it will magically work. It won't. Third, prepare both full flash and EEPROM files from the original ECU and the donor ECU. Fourth, submit them to the Magic Motorsport Volkswagen Mk6 clone service for proper Immobilizer transfer. Once the corrected files are returned, write them carefully with stable voltage. Reinstall the ECU and test. This is one of those cases where understanding architecture matters more than just having a powerful tool. Flex is absolutely capable of reading and writing these units properly, but cloning success depends on how the Immobilizer system is structured. The tool did its job. The limitation comes from the ECU design itself. And this is exactly why at Baabji Motors we always talk about understanding the logic behind the system, not just a button you press on the screen. So let's answer the question clearly. Why does the car not start after cloning a VW Golf EDC17CP14 1-to-1? Because the Immobilizer crypto key stored in the OTP area of the donor ECU does not match the transferred EEPROM data, causing authentication failure. In my opinion, this is one of the most misunderstood aspects of modern ECU cloning. Many technicians assume that successful write equals successful clone. On older systems, maybe on MEDC17 family ECUs, absolutely not. Once you understand OTP and crypto handling, these problems stop being mysterious. I'd really like to hear your experience on this. Have you run into this issue before? Did you go the IMMO-off route, adapt it with dealer tools, or use a professional clone service? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can compare approaches and help each other improve. Here's one extra tip that doesn't get mentioned often. Always label and archive both original and donor full backups before attempting any clone. Months later, when a car returns with a different issue, having untouched original reads can save hours of reverse work. If this breakdown helped clarify things, let's aim for 1,000 likes and 100 comments on this video. Only a small percentage of viewers who watch Baabji Motors are actually subscribed, and subscriptions genuinely make a difference. Deep technical analysis like this takes real-time testing and experience. When you like, comment, share, and subscribe, you directly support the effort that goes into producing this kind of in-depth content and help the channel move closer to becoming the #1 resource for practical diagnostic knowledge. If any tools mentioned are linked in the description, they may include affiliate links, which means if you purchase through them, it supports the channel at no additional cost to you. Thanks for spending your time here. Keep sharpening your diagnostic thinking. Keep asking why instead of just how. And as always, happy diagnosing.